What's up guys, Jeff Cavaliere, AthleanX.com. So today I'm going to show you how to unstick yourself in your upper back, right? If you have like this rounded posture, or if you just feel stiff and you can't really extend through that upper back, you're likely not getting enough thoracic extension. And I talk about all the time how important and critical that is to performing all of your big lifts. You can't properly execute a row or properly execute a front squat or even do, let's say, an overhead press or any other variation of a squat without having thoracic extension and the mobility needed through your thoracic spine to do them the right way, or you're going to compensate the hell out of it. But how do we get here is actually a little interesting because we were supposed to do a completely different topic until Jesse here showed up to work today, by the way. Because where were you yesterday?
It's playing golf.
Playing golf on a work day.
You gave me the day off.
Okay, playing golf, and he comes in today, says he feels stiff.
Yeah,
right?
Dude, I can't even get I can't even get back like that. It's so tight right up in here.
Since it's such a common problem here, I want to show you guys a way to actually fix it. There's something I can do to him as a physical therapist, but then something that you can do yourself when you don't have somebody like me to actually fix it yourself, and it's just going to take a couple minutes, all right? So let's take a look at the skeleton first so you understand why you're doing what you're doing, and then I'll show you how to do those two things. All right, guys, to fix this issue, it does benefit you to look beneath the surface to get a clearer picture of what's going on so that you can attack it the right way. Because there is a very specific way you want to do this. If you look at it, guys, the spine is set up into 3 zones. We have the cervical spine in the neck, we have the thoracic spine in this area here, and then we have the lumbar spine down the low back. Interestingly, we're trying to focus on just the middle of that spine, the thoracic area, but it's not the entire thoracic area, as you're going to see in a second. Because we have a couple curves that happen naturally in the spine. Up in the neck, you kind of have this curve kind of curving inward. As we get to that upper mid-back, we do have a natural convex curve happening here. And when we get back down towards the low back, we get that natural lordotic curve in here where again, it curves right back in like it did up at the neck. Well, if you look at that, though, the entire thoracic spine doesn't curve like this. It actually starts to curve back in as the lumbar spine does if you look at a much higher level. You can see that it's actually starting to curve back in already over here, right? It's starting to curve back in this direction. So we don't want to be pushing anything into extension or trying to regain extension when we already have good extension there. So it actually helps us because there's some landmarks that define exactly where you want to focus your efforts. And that is the top here of your shoulders, which would be the bottom of your thoracic, of your cervical spine, and then the bottom of your shoulder blades, because that's going to get to the point where it starts to then go back into extension again. So all of your efforts are really focused here. So when you use your foam roller, like I'm going to show you, you can feel the bottom of your shoulder blades and you know where the top of your shoulders are. The next thing you're going to want to do is try to expose this area, because if you get your shoulder blades pinched too far back together, they're going to become more prominent. You can see it here from the side. They're going to become more prominent so that even if you're trying to push anything in this direction to impact the thoracic spine here, you're not going to be able to get to it. So you want to get these shoulder blades out of the way, which we're going to do that. And then finally, we don't always just get stuck forward into flexion. We actually can get some rotation there as well. And sometimes when you have that rotation, just doing what I'm going to show you won't necessarily get at it. So you want to try to get the foam roller, and we're going to angle it this way and angle it this way to try to get at any of these imbalances with flexion and rotation together, all right? But it's really, really simple, guys. I'm going to do it first on Jesse, and then more importantly, I'm going to show you how you can do it yourself with just a medicine ball and a foam roller and get rid of it every single time. All right, so the very easy way to fix this, if you have access to a physical therapist or somebody that actually is skilled in doing this, would be to do this manual mobilization. Now, of course, Jesse, you can see it actually is pretty rounded through here, but what's making it worse is that he's got his arms up under his head. So the first thing you want him to do is actually take them down to your sides and here. Great, now he's actually opened this up, and he's done the second thing that we talked about, which was exposing this area a little bit more. So now I can work right on the thoracic spine. All I'm trying to do is get him to go into extension. So we can get extension by pushing down, right? We know that if it's already rounded this way, if I push down into that, I can get extension. So what I do is I come up on top here. I'm going to have Jesse just take a deep breath in, and then as he breathes out, I'm going to push straight down. I'm not going to do it just yet. I'm going to push with the heels of my hands in this V shape here to try to mirror the direction of those transverse processes of his vertebrae. I'm going to push down and in that way. Straight down and in. Down and in. Almost a little bit down and up. All right? So you ready? We're going to see if we can actually hear the pop. Right? Yes, we did. And then again. and down. Good. And then one more. Okay, nothing up there. So how's it feel? Come on up.
Way better already.
See, already extending back through here.
Yeah.
So the idea is, guys, that we can get that. Now, more importantly, how the hell do you do this yourself? I'm going to show you how to do it step by step. All right, guys, so again, what we just did there was we took this area where we know we're getting too much rounding, and I had those hands placed in like this and driving up, down, and up just to try to create some extension as I press down and forward. So how could you do that if you don't have someone's extra set of hands? It's actually not that difficult if you have a foam roller and a ball. So what we do is the ball has to be substantially heavy enough. This is like a 40-pound med ball. And if you don't have a ball, guys, you can use something else. You can even put a bag full of some clothes or even a bag full of sand, something that's going to provide some weight that you can get your arms around. But ideally, a medicine ball of weight would be great. So now what you do is you take the medicine ball and you position yourself over the foam roller. And remember, I have my landmarks. I know that the bottom of my shoulder blades, this is right there, is as low as I'm going to go. And then up into my shoulder height will be as high as I'm going to go. Anywhere in between is fair game. So if I take the ball, I put it over my chest, right on my chest, and I wrap my arms around it. Again, so we can take our arms into protraction and expose the thoracic spine, not have it blocked by the shoulder blades in the back like we showed on the skeleton. So now what I do is I just balance with my feet here, and then I'm going to let the ball come back and over. So obviously, if I had this ball resting right here on the foam roller, when I got it to that point, the weight would pull it back over the top. So what I want to do is I want to get it to do the same thing to me. So I have the ball right on top of my chest, and then I'm going to let it start to roll this way. And as soon as it rolls here, down, like that. And I even, you might have heard, a little bit of a pop in my mid-back. All right, so now I reposition, maybe go a little bit lower, towards the bottom area of that zone. I have it on my chest. I just let it start to roll back and down. Good. And then come up a little bit higher. Again, arms wrapped around. Let the ball start to roll and down. Just like that. So now you come up. You have a lot more thoracic extension. You should be free here. If I were to go do a front squat, getting in that front rack position would be very easy. If I was going to do an overhead press, maintaining a tall thoracic spine will be easy. If I was going to do a bent over row, getting the chest out because the thoracic spine is extended would be easy. That's what you need to do. Now let's pretend, as I mentioned with Jesse, let's say there's a rotational component too. Like you get here but you still feel a little bit stiff. Then all you have to do is twist the foam roller that you're on, still keep your body aligned straight ahead. So I still do the same thing with the ball here. And now I'm working more on one side and at an oblique angle. So I take the same thing, I come back and down, right? And I can work up and down. If that doesn't get it, we can turn it the other way, angle the other way. I'm still straight here and same deal, right? So just play with the angle of the foam roller, but I'm going to tell you most of the time, you're just going to have to keep it straight across, and you're going to notice an immediate improvement. So guys, I hope you found this video helpful. This is something anybody can do, and this is a very, very common problem. Restrictions into thoracic extension are extremely common, especially for lifters. They not only create bad posture, but they create major limitations when you try to perform the exercises you do in the gym properly. So you want to make sure you're addressing this. This is an easy way to do that. If you're looking for programs, guys, where we put the science back in strength, you can find them all over at athleanx.com. In the meantime, if you found this video helpful, leave your comments and thumbs up below. Let me know what else you want me to cover. I'll do my best to do that for you. And if you haven't already done so, guys, please click subscribe and turn on your notifications so you never miss a video when I put one out. All right, guys, see you soon.